Welcome everyone. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, comment below and tell me where you're watching from, and subscribe so you don't miss any of our dark romance stories. Now let's get into it. The snow fell heavy against the window, painting the world outside in silence. I should have felt safe in my cabin surrounded by the warm glow of the fire, but I didn't. I sensed him before I saw him, Jace. My heart slammed against my ribs as the door creaked open, revealing the alpha I had loved and lost. His eyes, sharp and stormy, pinned me where I stood, and I could feel the raw pull of him, the danger and desire mingling in the air. "Ember," he breathed, his voice low, almost a growl. My name on his lips sent shivers down my spine, the memory of his touch, his dominance, and the nights we had shared flooding back. My pulse raced, my body betraying me, craving what I had promised never to want again. He stepped closer and I could smell him, the wildness, the power, the scent that had marked me as his once before. His hand hovered near mine, hesitant yet demanding, as if the universe itself had been holding its breath for this moment. "I came back for you," he murmured. The words hung between us like a storm waiting to break. I wanted to run, to slam the door and lock it behind me, but my legs refused to obey. Jace's presence pulled me in, an invisible tether that tightened with every heartbeat. I had spent months convincing myself that he was gone, that I had survived losing him, but now here he was standing in my living room, the same alpha who had once been everything to me. "I shouldn't have come," I whispered, though my voice trembled, betraying the truth I couldn't say. I needed him too. "You shouldn't have left," he countered, his gaze darkening, filled with something that felt like both anger and desire. His eyes roamed over me, lingering too long, igniting fires I thought had died. Every inch of me ached under his scrutiny, my body remembering what my mind wanted to forget. He stepped closer, closing the distance until the warmth of him pressed against me. I could feel the tension coiling in his muscles, the predatory strength barely restrained. And then his hand found my cheek, thumb brushing lightly over my skin, and I gasped at the sensation as if I'd been holding my breath for years. "I'm not asking, Ember," he said, his voice dropping lower. "I'm taking what's mine." The words sent a thrill of fear and longing through me. Not in theory, not in memory, but in a way that made my soul recognize its other half. I wanted to resist, to remind myself of the pain he had caused, the nights I had spent crying alone. But my body betrayed me, leaning into his touch, aching for him in ways I couldn't name. "You're dangerous," I breathed, my lips trembling as his eyes held mine. "You always were. And you," he said, pressing closer, "were always mine. You still are." The air between us vibrated with a raw energy I couldn't escape. His scent, the primal power that marked him as alpha, overwhelmed me. I could feel the wolf beneath his human form, the pulse of it syncing with my own heartbeat. The memory of our last night together returned. The fire, the dominance, the fierce, consuming connection that had left me trembling for days. He lowered his head, brushing his lips against mine in a kiss that was part demand, part longing. I gasped, pushing into him despite the warning bells in my mind. My hands tangled in his hair, pulling him closer, desperate for more, yet terrified of losing myself entirely. "Ember," he whispered between kisses, "I've waited too long. I won't wait any longer." And just like that, the dam I had built around my heart shattered. My lips met his fully, yielding to the storm of desire that had never truly faded. The fire from the hearth could not compete with the heat between us, the dangerous, thrilling pull of the alpha who had never stopped wanting me. We broke apart only for a breath, foreheads pressed together, hearts hammering in unison. I could see the wolf in him, restless, powerful, and aching to claim me in ways my human mind could barely comprehend. "You need to leave," I said, voice trembling, though I knew it was a lie. Every fiber of me screamed for him to stay. "I can't," he said simply, his hands sliding down to my waist, pulling me impossibly close. "Not until you remember, Ember. Not until you accept what we were, and what we still are." I swallowed hard, caught between fear and longing. His words were a promise, a threat, and a temptation all at once. I had thought I could survive without him, but standing here, feeling him against me, I realized that survival was meaningless when it came to Jace. The moment stretched, heavy with unspoken truths, until a sudden noise outside made us both snap our heads toward the window. A shadow moved across the snow, quick and deliberate, and instinctively Jace's body tensed. I could feel his power radiating, the wolf beneath the surface alert and ready. "Trouble?" asked my voice small. "Always," he muttered, his jaw tightening. "But I'll handle it. Stay close." Before I could respond, he swept me into his arms, carrying me to the back of the cabin where the windows were smaller, safer. My pulse raced, not just from fear, but from the undeniable thrill of being in his arms again. Every muscle, every instinct screamed that I was his, and despite the danger outside, I felt a twisted sense of safety in him. He set me down gently, though his hands lingered, and crouched beside me. "You're mine, Ember," he said again, almost to himself. "And no one is taking you from me. Not this Christmas, not ever again." The words settled over me like a shroud. I wanted to resist, to push him away, but I couldn't. I leaned into him, letting my head rest against his chest, listening to the steady, powerful rhythm of his heart. Somewhere deep inside, I knew this was only the beginning. The alpha had returned, the storm was here, and I was caught in the eye of it. The snow outside turned heavier, blanketing the forest in silence, but inside, the storm between us raged. Jace's hands never left me, resting possessively on my waist, his body radiating power and danger. I wanted to pull away to remind myself of the past, but the pull of him was magnetic, irresistible. "You can't stay hidden forever," I whispered, tracing the ridge of his jaw with my fingers. "They'll find us. They'll have to try," he murmured, his lips brushing my temple. "No one touches what's mine. Not you, Ember. Not ever." I swallowed, trying to steady my racing heart, knowing it was a lie to think I could resist him. He had always been danger and desire wrapped into one, and I had loved him too fiercely to deny it now. A sudden growl from the shadows outside made me jump. Jace stiffened immediately, the wolf surfacing beneath his human form. His eyes glowed faintly, a predatory silver in the dim light. I had seen him like this before. Alpha, dominant, unstoppable. My pulse quickened, not from fear but from the thrill of being close to him while he was so powerful. "Stay behind me," he ordered, moving in front of me. Every step he took exuded authority, every muscle coiled and ready. I could feel the heat of him, the tension that promised danger and protection all at once. The door rattled as something large slammed against it. The snowstorm outside seemed to amplify every sound. The scrape of claws, the snap of branches, the harsh whisper of the wind. I pressed back against Jace, my hands clutching his jacket, my body trembling not just from fear, but from the intoxicating nearness of him. The door burst open and a massive gray wolf lunged inside. I froze, but Jace moved with blinding speed, shifting into his own wolf form mid-step. Black fur bristled along his spine, silver eyes locked on the intruder. They collided in a flurry of teeth and claws, a savage dance of dominance and survival. Snow flew around them, illuminated by the flickering firelight, their growls echoing through the cabin. I watched, breath caught, heart racing as the two wolves fought. Jace's form was pure power, every movement precise, controlled, lethal. He was magnificent, terrifying, and utterly mine. I felt a pang of something deep and primal, knowing that this was who he truly was. The alpha, the predator, the mate I had never stopped wanting. The fight ended as abruptly as it had begun. The rogue wolf lay retreating into the night, defeated, leaving Jace standing over me. His fur shimmered under the firelight as he shifted back into his human form, towering and unyielding. He bent down, brushing a hand over my cheek, lifting my chin so I could look into his stormy eyes. "You're safe," he said softly, though the tension in his shoulders suggested the fight was far from over. "I'll keep you safe, Ember. Always." I swallowed, unable to speak, my lips trembling. Every word, every touch reminded me why I had loved him so fiercely, and why I had tried to forget. But now forgetting was impossible. "You came back for me," I whispered, voice barely audible. "After all this time." "I never left," he said simply, brushing a strand of hair from my face. "Even when I wasn't here, you were mine. And now I'm taking back what's mine." His lips found mine again, slow and demanding, igniting a fire deep inside me. I wrapped my arms around his neck, pressing into him, feeling the warmth of his body, the strength that could protect me from anything. For a moment, the world shrank to the space between us. The heat of his kiss, the power of his hands, the undeniable truth that we belonged together. The fire in the hearth crackled, shadows dancing across the walls as Jace pulled back slightly, forehead resting against mine. His breathing was deep, controlled, yet I could feel the wolf inside him, restless, protective, and aching to claim every part of me. "You're mine," he said again, voice low and dangerous. "I won't let anyone take you from me. Not ever." I shivered at the words, knowing that mine was no longer a question. The past, the pain, the months apart, it all melted away in the heat of his presence. I had no doubt now, he wanted me as much as I wanted him, and nothing, not even the world itself, could change that. The snowstorm outside raged on, but inside we found a fragile, trembling peace. Jace held me close, his body tense, ready to protect, and I leaned into him, letting the years of longing, fear, and desire melt away. I was his. Completely, undeniably, and eternally. Hours passed and the storm outside began to die down. We sat by the fire, silent, sharing warmth and quiet breaths, each of us feeling the shift, the bond rekindling stronger than before. I could feel the wolf within him calming, his dominance tempered by the gentleness he reserved only for me. "You'll never leave again," he said finally, brushing my hair behind my ear. Not after this. Not ever. I won't, I whispered back, pressing my lips to his again, slow and sure. I'm yours, Jace. Always. He smiled then, a rare soft curve of his lips that made my chest ache. The storm outside was over, but the storm between us had only just begun, and I wouldn't have it any other way. This Christmas the Alpha had returned and he had claimed what was always his. I was his mate, his ember, and for the first time in months I felt whole, dangerous, and alive all at once. No one could take him from me and I would never let him go.